Okay, so asked to solve an algebraic fraction. So we've got to think it's a start question, so they're expecting us to give full explanations. It's worth 5 marks, so there's going to be quite a bit of workings out to do. So there's lots of ways of doing these. Personally, I think of it as crossover, crossover, multiply the bottom, so cross-eyed smiley faces. And literally in doing this technique, we'll end up with a single fraction then that we can deal with the equation itself. So this is going to be equal to 2. So we're going to have 3 lots of x plus 3, there's a plus sign, plus 8 lots of x take away 2, all over x take away 2 times x plus 3. So all we're doing is we're making a common denominator by multiplying the two denominators in the original fractions. So the common denominator is that. And to do that, we must have multiplied the 3 by x plus 3 to give us the extra x plus 3 for this one. And then we must multiply 8 by its opposite to get the extra bit there. And that's going to be equal to the 2. Now in doing this then, we've got loads of brackets, so the first thing to do is multiply out all the brackets. So we get 3x plus 9, 8 times x, it's a plus here, so plus 8x. Here we've got to be careful though, because we're doing positive 8 times negative 2, so it's going to be take away 16. All over, and then we multiply the two brackets out in our normal way. So you either use the grid or whatever method you've got. But when multiplying out this, then we've got x times x, so that's x squared. We've got x times 3, so that's plus 3x. Then we've got negative 2 times x, that's take away 2x. And then we've got negative 2 times 3, which is negative 6. And that all equals 2. So simplify this down. So we've got 3x's plus 8x's, 11x's. 9 take away 16 is take away 7. X squared, well there's only one of those. 3x's take away 2x's leaves us with a positive x, and we've got to take away 6, so take away 6 at the bottom there. So let's have a look, that equals 2. So now we're going to multiply across because we want to get rid of the division. So opposite of dividing, opposite of dividing is timesing. So we end up with 11x's take away 7 equals 2 lots of x squared plus x take away 6. Multiply out the bracket, so 11x take away that is 2x squared plus 2x's take away 12. And we can see here now that we've got a quadratic. We've got something with power 2 in it and a series of x's and numbers. So solving a quadratic, we want to make that equal to 0. So we need to use 0 somewhere. Well, the positive x squareds are here. So we've got 2x squareds. I'm going to take the 11x across here as a minus because it's positive there, so it was minus there. So 2x's take away 11x's is take away 9x's, and then I've got take away 7, so it comes across as an add 7, so negative 12 add 7 is negative 5, and that equals 0. So we've got to then, so what did we do there? Remember, so we took away 11x's and we added 7. So that's why we ended up with this as our final equation. Now solving quadratics, there's lots of techniques. Quite often, this is on a non-calculator paper, so quite often it means it's going to factorise into 2 brackets. I'd say 99 times out of 100 it's going to happen on a non-calculator paper. You can use the formula if that's your preferred method, it will still work, but the bracket idea usually works quite quick. 2x squared can only be made by having 2x times x, so the front of the bracket is quite straightforward. 2x times x is 2x squared. We can only make take negative 5 because these two bits here have to multiply to make negative 5. So we're either doing 1 times negative 5 or we're doing negative 1 times 5. So those are the only choices we have to put at the end here. But whatever we're doing with the 2 and this and these must give us negative 9 at the end. So I'm going to put negative 5 there because that's going to make negative 10x, and I'm going to put plus 1 here because that's going to make positive 1x. And we can do a quick check just to make sure that did work. So we had 2x and 1, we had x and take away 5, we're timesing. That gives me 2x squared, that gives me negative 10x, that gives me x, and that gives me negative 5. Like terms come together, so we've got x take away 10x. So from there we get 2x squared, take away 9x, take away 5. So that looks like it works. And that equals 0, of course. So what we get then is the brackets must equal 0 to give us our answer of x. So 2x plus 1 must equal 0. That tells me that x is going to be negative a half, because negative 1 plus 1 would be 0. Well, 2 times something gives me negative 1. Well, it must be 2 times negative a half. And the other bracket tells me that x take away 5 must equal 0. Well, that tells me that x is equal to 5. So our solutions are 5 or negative a half. Those are the answers for x. So x equals 5 or negative a half. Now, at the end of the exam, of course, we should go through the process of checking. So we would actually check these values work, and that means putting them back into the original equation. So if I want to check, let's check number 5. So 3 over, replace the x with number 5, so 3 over 5 take away 2 plus 8 over 5 plus 3. Well, 5 take away 2 is 3, 5 plus 3 is 8, and 3 divided by 3 is 1, 8 divided by 8 is 1, so that works. And then we should do the same with negative a half, and it does work. So that's how you solve algebraic fractions, going through the process of finding a common denominator by multiplying the two bottom bits, the denominators, and then crossing over to make sure that you've made them equivalent fractions. So cross-eyed smiley face. And then you go through the process of moving things around to get x on its own, and we ended up with a quadratic of 2x squared minus x minus 5 equals 0. And then we factorised the quadratic by creating the brackets. Only thing that can happen to give us 2x squared is 2x times x, and then the things in the middle here must multiply with the other things to make minus 9x and negative 5 there.